Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mahadharma Atma, our podcast. Um, let's say that Mahadharma Atma is the place where we study the great teaching of the soul, the grand, how can I say it, like science of the self, the living law that runs through all authentic traditions. For Dharma is not a belief, but the very expression of nature that sustains the profound order of reality. By the way, in this time I'm going to speak in English, as you can see. So, as you can notice, it's not my first language. I'm going to try to give my best to all of you, and I hope you understand what my conversation and this very interesting interview that we have today. So, when this Dharma is understood, it leads to the Atman, the self, and to the direct realization of the nature of consciousness. Through through the history, these teachings has appeared in various forms and traditions like Hinduism, Buddhism, Theosophy, of course, Hermetism, and other spiritual paths that, beyond their apparent and exoteric external differences, point toward the same quest to understand the nature of the soul and the profound purpose of life. In this space, my dear friends, we are going to explore precisely that knowledge, not only through theory, but also through the living experience of those who have walked this spiritual path, if I can call it like that. Just let's gonna call it like the path of life, okay? And that is why, my dear friends, that is my pleasure to share with all of you the presence of a very special guest. She is from Finland, Terhi Ahava. She is the director of the documentary One Fire. This work takes us like on a journey through, how can I say it, like a different spiritual traditions of the world to explore the possibility that behind all of them there exists the same flame. It is interesting to note that Terhi, as I know, she didn't have any previous experience in filmmaking. Nevertheless, she has given us a beautiful documentary about the work of Helena Blavatsky and the influence she has left on the world. So, before we begin our conversation, we are going to watch a short clip from the One Fire trailer to immerse ourselves in the atmosphere of this project. So, I share it right now with you guys.
The path that leadeth on is lighted by one fire, the light of daring burning in the heart. The more one dares, the more he shall obtain.
H.P. Blavatsky was a woman who was definitely ahead of her time in terms of the things that she tried to introduce into human understanding. She herself recognized and stated that the things that she was trying to communicate, it would be 100 years before we could begin to really grasp them.
She was proposing things that were completely different from what the science of the time knew.
During its time, the Theosophical Society has attracted some of the highest minds, arts, politics, science, people like Krishnamurti, Annie Besant, and her influence in India. Artists of all stripes, Skripal, Kandinsky.
We are all divine sparks and we come into matter, but because the world is a kind of school, we all have to do this in order to awaken to our divine nature.
Many people may not have heard of Theosophy or the ageless wisdom, but they have heard about reincarnation, about the soul, karma, about dharma or duty, about thought forms. These things about the inner life are the legacy of the Theosophical Society.
Thank you very much. I hope you can watch the whole documentary that I'm gonna put the link under the video. And please, Terhi, thank you for sharing with us like this beautiful documentary, and thanks for your effort to share with the world the work of Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. Thank for all your, I will say that it's a big effort that you did in this beautiful work, and all your team also. So I think like it was a complete adventure, and we are so excited that we're gonna know what happened before, like behind cameras. So, Sergi, I give you the microphone. Uh, how do you feel
Thank you. Thank you.
after all of this?
So, yeah, so nice to be with you here. We've been friends for a while, and you were such a big support during this project to me. And yeah, so
Mhm.
excited to speak about One Fire because it's the first time actually that I'm doing a podcast, and actually kind of the first time I'm giving any kind of interview. So let's
Well,
do
like
it.
there's always a first time to everything. So
Exactly. And it is right here in this special moment.
yeah, yeah. Actually, the way that I met Sergi, it was very curious. Like I saw her in Instagram that she was sharing like very interesting things, and she has also very interesting pictures about all over the world in her Instagram, and you can follow her just if you allowed it. Like you can find her like Terhi Ava. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So.
So
Uh,
you've done your Finnish lessons.
Yeah, yeah, I need my Finnish lessons. So,
Yeah.
but fortunately, we have English. So, yeah, and well, after that, like we were talking, and I was living in Finland in that moment in Helsinki, and we met each other, and it was a very interesting conversation that we had that day. I remember it. She showed me a little bit about One Fire, and since the first moment that I saw this small video, I knew that was gonna be a great project. So, and she was so like altruistic, and she wasn't expecting like anything in change for that. How do you say it? Like, I mean, like I was so surprised the things that you go through to make
I was
this.
pouring my heart out to this project, like
Yeah,
from the
yeah, yeah. You put
beginning
all your
to
heart
the
and
end,
you
everything
bleed,
I had
and
and more.
yeah, it was beautiful. So, Tergil, the first question that I have for you, and that everyone maybe wants to know, what inspired you to create One Fire? Like, how it happened? Like, where did that initiative originates? You know,
Yeah,
like where the
that's
magic happen?
yeah, it was magic. It's really kind of a mystery how it like started and came to be, and I'm still kind of surprised about it myself. Like you said, I'm not a filmmaker. I never in my wildest dreams even thought that I would ever make a film. I didn't have any ambition to make a film. Actually, I wasn't particularly interested in films either. So, yeah, now after this couple of years, I'm a film director and so proud to be. But yeah, kind of I think the movie had to happen, and maybe it was my dharma also in this lifetime to do it. And so how this whole journey started was I wrote a book about Adyar. I was just very fascinated with the place of Adyar and the different people who have been there, and the different buildings and just the magical ambience. But I was kind of at that point interested in it as a historian. So I'm now finally going to put out my book, but it was the book that took me there, and this was like 3 years ago. And Tim Boyd, he read the book and he liked it very much. And that was right after COVID. And I had also become a mother. I had a small boy at home. So I went back to ADR like after 5 years, having written the book, and was just so happy to be there. It was kind of my first trip after like being a mother also. So I felt very free and just so happy to go back there.
Yeah.
And I remember I was there like the first night, and I went to sit on the Leadbeater Chambers rooftop. I don't know if people who listen know about ADR, but it's the headquarters of the Theosophical Society in Chennai, and it's basically this huge forest. So it's kind of like a pocket of jungle in the middle of the city of Chennai. And you have these old, beautiful heritage buildings and these big banyan trees and just nature. And there is something in the ambience there that you don't really find anywhere else. So they have this very old guest house that was built by Annie Besant, and I went to sit on the rooftop at night, and I was kind of feeling all the feels. And I remember, and now I actually remember this only afterwards that this happened, but I remember I was sitting there and I was kind of, talking to the universe, and I was like, okay, I've just written this book and I don't really know what I'm gonna do next with my life. Show me the way, show me the path. Like I am at service. I remember very distinctively that I said those words to the stars and the sky. And the next day, I met a friend. His name is Hugo. He's from Bolivia. I'd never met him before. He was at ADR with his mom, going to travel in India, and we met. He's a cinematographer, and we talked a little bit on the beach, and I mentioned him I wrote a book, and he said, yeah, it would be cool to make a film together about your book. And that's kind of how this whole project started.
There's
And
an important lesson here. Like, before to say something like, please, universe, I'm ready, think about that because you never know.
or don't think about it, because if you know what's in store for you, you may like chicken out. So it's better
Yeah.
not to know.
Well, it's
But
it's
yeah,
super interesting. I mean, like, it's like, because in the esoteric teachings we hear and we read all the time that be careful what you wish also, no? And if you also you offer yourself to, I don't know, to the universe, to the Mahatmas, that we are gonna talk a little bit about the Mahatmas, that they are like very famous nowadays, no? So when you do that, like the things starts to happen in some way, like in a magical way.
yeah,
When you want to make your service to the cause, to the humankind, or um, it's gonna start complete change inside of you and also around you. And you're maybe like the Mahatma letters says that we are gonna receive like proofs that are gonna challenge us also to understand the teachings, the Dharma, not in a theoretical way only, but also like you're gonna be the Dharma itself.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that was kind of the experience that I had. I very much felt like, okay, if this was actually later that the project grew into a much bigger thing that it was originally even meant to be. Originally, we were going to do like a 30-minute kind of video project. It was a film, but it wasn't the scale that it ended up being. But when it actually started to grow and when the project became quite difficult, I always felt this same thing that, okay, this is probably my dharma in this lifetime. If I'm going to do one thing, let it be this. I'll go all in, I'll give everything that I have. But it was also really challenging because I think when you're doing like a big work that comes from your soul. You have to face your soul and your soul's obstacles. And I for sure faced mine. Like all my Achilles heel things that are like difficult for me in this lifetime were definitely activated.
Yeah.
But I was always so determined that this just, I have to do my best for this one. And yeah, the result is really beautiful and I'm really proud of it.
Oh,
But I
well,
didn't finish my story.
you have to, of course,
Yeah.
like, please, like,
But
remember, go to watch On Fire. It's on YouTube and it has subtitles in many languages. Like when I
like
saw
20 languages.
20 languages, yeah, when I saw the
Yeah.
subtitles, I was like, wow, like it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's
It
also,
became
of
a great
course, in
project.
Finnish, so
Yeah.
so that it's unbelievable. I mean, well, something interesting that I want to share with you and everyone that is watching this video, it's like when Terhi starts to share what she was going through, like trying to make this film, I could notice in your life that the Dharma really happens like in the books. Because when you try to make a big effort for the light, for helping the human beings, you have to be the Dharma itself. So I think, in my opinion, I don't know what do you think, but when you try to talk about Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, in some way was like, okay, so you want to understand what Helena Blavatsky did to this world and all the suffering that she had trying to share this Dharma? Let's do it. And you have to understand deeply to Elena Petrovna Blavatsky, even like, I don't know how to say it, like if her experience was into you, difficult to explain in English, but like, yeah, like if you had a kind of connection with her in some way, that it was even experimented in your own life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of have to feel what you're telling the audience also. So yeah, the project, yeah, how to even describe it? Like it started really small and actually um it started with just three people. It was me, Hugo, who I met on the beach, and Ramon, who is an incredible Bolivian composer. And this whole thing like coincided with the 150-year anniversary of the Theosophical Society. So that's how this project kind of, from our little idea, but it got traction because there was this anniversary and a very important one. And this was in like last year. And yeah, we just had like a teeny tiny budget, teeny tiny team, and we decided that okay, we're going to film the film in ADR, and they have this annual convention where a lot of people come around Christmas time or around New Year's time, and it was a good chance to film, and it was a good chance to meet people and interview them. But what happened actually is like Hugo, who I met on the beach, he couldn't join. He couldn't come to India, so I had to find a new crew. And um, I through a friend, I got this great cinematographer who came with his professional team. His name is Martin Donraj, and he's been the cinematographer for several films that have been on Netflix. And this, for example, Tamil film called Talai Kotal, which is a very beautiful drama film. So that already like kind of stepped up the game that we have this professional, amazing film crew with us. And then when we started filming, I actually had to step in as a director. I never planned to do that. I was just meant to write the script, but because Hugo couldn't come, there was no other director, so I had to step in, and I had never directed a film, so I didn't basically know what I was doing at that point. And yeah, we also had very small budget in the beginning, and for the longest time, I was very much alone. I went to India. I shot several interviews. I shot some scenery in Adyar, but I realized that you cannot introduce the life of Helena Blavatsky or what is Theosophy or the 150-year-old journey or how Theosophy has impacted the world in 30 minutes of film. It's not going to do it justice. So at that moment, the project started to grow, and I didn't really have the means to do it at that point. I didn't have the money or the team or the resources, but I was just like, okay, this project is asking to be bigger. So whatever it takes, let's try to make it bigger. And yeah,
It
this
was.
there, yeah, and it became. And somehow I feel like I always got the support that I needed. Like all the people that came into the project on the way, they found me or they found maybe it was their dharma as well. Or for sure it was because the right people came and yeah.
And through all this, because as I said before, you were trying to share these teachings through your film and also like all the Theosophical Society story. Not only Elena Petrovna Blavatsky, also the influence that the movement had through through the history and through time and all that. But there is something that I want to ask you that it's for me interesting. I don't know for everyone else, but much has been said about the Mahatmas and the elder brothers, these immortals from the Himalayas. So, the teachers of Elena Petrovna Blavatsky, the real guys behind all of this. So, during the filming, or even before or after that process, did you feel any influence or presence for them or something?
Yeah, I actually completely surrendered myself to the universe with this project. Let's put it that way. I always felt that because I was not the one who had the idea to make this film, it just came. I felt that I should just surrender and whatever visions would come to me or whatever ideas would come to me would come in a similar way as the project came, that it came from a greater source. And it was not even my job to assess, is this a good one or not? Or is this going to work or not? But I was just very open. For example, the ending of the film, if you haven't watched it, but it's the best part. So the ending of the film,
I have watched all the films, so
yeah, I don't know if the audience has, but there is this moment when this Yuna, her name is Yuna, this girl, she runs through Adyar and she ends up on the bridge, and there is like this drone shot where the camera goes up, and that was the first I saw that in my head before when I was even like planning the film, scripting the film. I didn't really know what that moment would be like. But during the making of the film, I never had a very like tight script, which is not what a filmmaker should do. A filmmaker should make a good script that will help a lot in the filmmaking process, but I didn't have one because the topic is so vast. It's so spiritual. There hasn't been a movie about theosophy before, and there are all these great personalities. Um, it was very difficult for me to make a script that wouldn't change on the way. So I kind of let it be loose, and then I let myself sort of have these visions and not question them. And in the end, this was a 2-year project. In the end, whatever we had filmed somehow came together very beautifully. And I just thought that if I had sort of planned this film myself, it would not have come so beautifully together than when it sort of came from the universe or through those visions. So I think when you surrender to I don't know, the guidance of the universe, more beautiful things can happen than when you try to plan everything with your little mind and your little brain. So in that way, I think I kind of felt the guidance of greater powers, whether we believe in Mahatmas or the universe or spirits or, you
Yeah,
know, our inner knowing.
and you know Uh, what you are saying, it's also in the Dharma, like we find it because sometimes we hear about these human beings that they are not ghosts or something. They are real in the theosophical teachings and also in ancient traditions and in different traditions. Everyone talks about the Mahatmas. They are also very famous in that world. And now they are very exoteric. They were before esoteric. But we used to believe that the contact with the Mahatmas is gonna happen in some way that he's gonna knock your door and he will say something like, "Hey, I'm here. Like, I'm the Mahatma M or the Mahatma KH. Nice to meet you. Can I have a a tea with you?" And it's not like that. The Mahatma says that they can inspire us in some way and they can have some influence also in us. But we have to be open and we have to, you say something like to, how do you
Surrender?
surrender? Yeah,
Mhm.
you have to surrender. And in that way, they share like, how do you say it? Like their mind to you, and you can feel something like visions, and you can feel like or see images or an intuition that says something like, yeah, the project has to be in this way, or and when I met you, that I'm gonna share it with everyone.
Yeah.
Uh, in my personal opinion, I thought that this project was watched by the Mahatmas. If I can say that, and it's, I think like everyone's gonna think that I'm a little bit crazy, and maybe,
All the best
but
people. Oh.
yeah, but I remember that I told you like, Terhi, don't worry, like you are doing something very good for the cause, and the Mahatmas are watching you because like this is very important. And maybe in that time in Helsinki, where when I told you that, maybe it wasn't so strong in that moment. But after, I think like the documentary, uh, these words took a deep meaning because I don't know if you want to share it, but it happened like the thing of the festival in India, the film festival. You know what I mean, right? Like the festival.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
with
you mean
with the
the Dalai
boss,
Lama Foundation?
Yeah, with the yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
When
actually,
you
yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like when you connect all
Yeah,
these points in through
yeah,
the line time, it
yeah,
makes
it's true.
sense.
Yeah, so yeah, because it started a small project and it was meant to kind of to honor the Theosophical Society's anniversary, but it really grew into a big film on the way. And I was saying that we started with three people, but towards the end, we had this like amazing, one of the best post-production studios of India working on our film. So our little documentary, or what started as little, went and was made by the best film technicians of India. Um, and another funny thing is actually in my before I started this project, I was working as a project manager, and I ended up in Chennai, and I was working for an elevator company at that time, and that's how I started this whole journey. But I was literally next door to the film studios where our film was then um, post produced. So my old office is there, and then this film studios of ALVJ. He's an incredible film director from India. He's made many really famous films, and he has his post-production studios. And actually, like the first Indian film that I've ever watched and loved is called Matrasapatinam. And the first time I went to India, I watched it and I just fell in love with that film. And now, in some weird way, my own film was produced by his studios, and he kind of took our film. He's a very spiritual filmmaker as well, so he saw the value of this project and our efforts and the spiritual nature of the film, and it really, we're so lucky that it ended up at his studios. So after the film came out, it's actually been shown around the world. So it took this like tour. Probably it's still gonna go to several places, but it was shown in a real cinema in Vancouver, in one of the biggest cinemas in Singapore, in New Zealand, in several ones in India, Barcelona, Mexico City,
Yeah,
and
we're here. Mhm.
yeah. And then it was also selected by the Dalai Lama Foundation in January as their film of the month. So the Dalai Lama Foundation showed it in Delhi and got super good reviews. So it's touching not only theosophists but like spiritual seekers across the world. And actually next week it's being screened in Auroville in South India, in if you know this like spiritual utopian city of Auroville. So it's there at their Cinema Paradiso as well.
So, Terhi, the Dalai Lama sent you a letter, right? Am I
Yeah,
wrong?
his foundation. So his foundation of the universal responsibility. So yeah, they were very impressed with the film as well. And it's touching people, not only theosophists, just I think everybody. And that was actually one of my goals with the film, to to give an avenue for any person who is interested in these topics to enter theosophy, because theosophy is a little bit difficult topic and difficult to explain even what is theosophy. Many of us struggle to even answer that question, and there are tons of books that have been written, and Helena Blavatsky's writings are not the easiest ones to decipher. They're voluminous. She's written thousands of pages, and her style is also, yeah, not the easiest. So I wanted to create a film that would speak to all kinds of audiences, and I decided to actually take Blavatsky's secret doctrine as sort of the thin red line that runs through the documentary. And the documentary talks about the impact of theosophy, not only the history, but its impact, sort of hidden impact in arts, in music, in politics, education, and also science. And it's really fascinating to see. I was just able to skim the surface because theosophy is everywhere. In some places it's very visible, but in some ways it's also hidden. And the documentary really, it's a journey to the impact of theosophy. But because that was such a large topic, I chose to focus on the secret doctrine and like kind of show the influence of that particular book, because it's
Mm.
kind of the core teachings of Blavatsky. So
So before going in that direction, because like you're sharing with us, like what were you trying to share, like the secret doctrine and like the deep part of the film. But before going there, I have to say, like, I didn't know that thing that you love this place in India and this movie, and in the future, like, the documentary was in that place. I mean, like, it not wasn't like was how do you say it? Projected? Yeah,
hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, oh, produced.
yeah. Produced. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
by this company.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for me, it's like, wow, it's amazing,
That
and
was one of the best moments also, because I was at the studios and I we had the film on the big screen, and we did color grading and we did sound mixing. It's now mixed for like Dolby Digital, the best kind of sound system that you have in the modern cinema. So we really had incredible people working on it and people who are making these big blockbusters. So we had One Fire there and we had all these like big Indian films. So that was an
Yeah.
amazing moment
And
for me.
when um the Dalai Lama team wrote you, and I remember that I was very happy that you share that with everyone in your Instagram, and I was like, wow, like it really happened, because I don't know if the Mahatmas or not, or the Mahatmas are real or they are not real. Everyone has to discover that by themselves. But I think that how it happens this, I mean, like the Dalai Lama team is not for the ego, but I
Mm.
think was very significant for you and your team. I think like was maybe I'm watching it from outside, but I think was like a very important moment of this project, because sometimes when you try to do like something that it starts to small, like small, and it starts to being more big and big and big, and you never know where it's gonna end, and suddenly it ends near from the Dalai Lama team. It's a very good lesson for everyone, because when you try to do something in an altruistic way for the all beings, the humankind, yeah, like you have the results, good results. And in my personal opinion, I think this was like, yeah, the Mahatmas are behind of all of this. Even like, I think behind behind of many spiritual movements, behind many filmmakers, maybe behind maybe many writers, even that they don't know, there's an influence, and we just need to be open and to be that one fire. By the way, why one fire? Like, how did you choose the name?
Yeah, this is actually from Tim Boyd, so the president of the Theosophical Society. He came up with the name, and I actually really love the name. I wanted to call this film The Secret Doctrine because that was I thought it was a mystical name and it's kind of catchy, and the film is really about the secret doctrine. But Tim Boyd came up with the name One Fire, and actually, I think it's even a better name for the film because, yeah,
Universal, like more universal.
yeah, it is, and it really like the message of the film and Blavatsky's teachings really boil down to the fact that we are all sparks of the same eternal flame, and and I think I don't know, maybe very first quote that I ever wrote on my very first script was the quote from Blavatsky where she talks about one fire that is in the beginning of the film. And when I was ready with the film and the name came much later, and we decided to put that quote from Blavatsky in as the very first lines, and I went back to the script that I had done 3 years ago. The same words were there, the first words that I had typed were there, those words. So it was always meant to be one fire. It's just I got like a little bit like sidetracked on the
There's
way.
no coincidences here, like
Yeah,
everything is
exactly.
connected.
So
And
it's a
you're
great name.
talking about like the philosophy behind the film. So did you have any expectations, or do you have right now any expectations that a certain kind of transformation might occur in those who watch One Fire? I mean, like to awaken something specific?
Yeah, I think this is what's the magic of this film is really. You know, when you're making a film, you focus a lot on the technical aspects and you see, oh, I have to fix this and that. And I really didn't know how powerful this film is because, you know, you're not objective towards the end anymore. But the response has been really incredible. I've received literally hundreds of messages from across the world, people who have just somehow found me on Instagram or on YouTube under the film, and from theosophists across the world, and everybody's saying the same thing. Um, Almost everyone is saying that the film has made them cry, especially at the end. And there are people who say that, like at the end, they had some mystical experiences that they actually saw Blavatsky on the grass or on the sky or you know on the forest or it has really touched people's hearts and I think there are many reasons for that. I think one was that we shielded the project. Like, I didn't show it to anybody. My friends and family were like, "You're making this film. Are you sure it's good?" And I didn't show it to my family. I didn't show it to any of my friends. Only like there were two people from the Theosophical Society who saw it just weeks before it was basically ready and finished. So and I think that was the right way to do it because when you talk about these kind of matters of heart and spirit, it is so intimate that you shouldn't necessarily expose it to all kinds of opinions. And you just have to trust that whatever you is coming from inside you is really the right thing for the film. And I think another reason why people are really touched by it is like I see it more as a spiritual transmission than a documentary film because it talks about this like eternal and ancient wisdom and truths that are not something that you can really understand with your mind, but you have to feel them. And I think a film is a great medium to do that because you have words, you have visuals, and you have music. And I think in this film, we somehow managed to, especially in the spiritual parts of the film, we managed to, the words and the music and the ambience came together to to touch people's hearts. And yeah, I would say it's more of a spiritual transmission. And I want to give a shout out to my two amazing musicians, Ramon Rocha from Bolivia, who's
Regards
an
to Ramon.
amazing composer. Regards to Ramon,
Saludos.
he composed, yeah, he composed beautiful music. And then at the very last month, like we were running out of time and we had a 2 hour film, and Ramon didn't have enough time to compose like a 2 hour score in so little time. We found another composer from Mumbai. His name is Aruham Patella, and another amazing person who bravely jumped into a project that had a crazy timeline that basically I talked with Aruhan once on the phone and he completely understood what this film needs. And half of the score is his and half of the score is Ramon's. And it's really like their music that made the story come alive.
And when you go to sleep and you know like you touch the people in this way, like how do you feel? Like
You mean now or during the project or what do you mean?
I mean like after because you didn't know like the people was going to answer in this way. You know, like as you say
Oh,
that there
yeah,
was
the
people
response.
crying and telling you like wow, it makes me cry and all that. So I think like it it's it happened inside like something that kind of a feeling that maybe you cannot say it, but it's another kind of satisfaction. Uh, not
Yeah.
not in an economical way, but like you are touching people, like you are really touching the soul of the people. So how do
Yeah,
you feel with that?
that's the Dharma part, I think. Because I really never I didn't have like a motive to get fame or get money or any of these things. Although I don't think it's wrong.
Mhm.
These things can come to me
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
they're coming to me. Let the door be open.
Yeah.
But yeah, like what I wanted to do with the film was first and foremost to honor Helena Petrovna Blavatsky because she has been such a misunderstood figure throughout history, and like her personal journey has been so difficult. And I felt that I wanted to make a film that would really honor her light and honor her teachings and honor the great woman she was. Because when she published her works 150 years ago, um, she kind of faced a lot of prejudice and traction, and it was almost like she brought in so much light that there had to be this counter force to dim it. You know, too much light always kind of attracts darkness as well. And she was labeled a medium, and she was labeled a fraud, and this and that. And if you look at what she has accomplished, it's just unbelievable. And I wanted to bring bring her legacy or let her legacy have some room to be what it is, the light of it, and kind of show that in a little bit different way, exactly through music and beautiful images. And yeah, that part gives me a lot of happiness for my heart because I feel like we managed to do that and honor her.
Yeah, because I think like you did it through the film. You did it. I mean, like you can notice like what Elena Petrovna Blavatsky achieved, with all her effort. And it's very interesting that you're sharing that with us because that was your main purpose. And maybe when you are watching that, you cannot notice in the first moment, but like at the end, it's like, wow, this is the impact of Elena Petrovna Blavatsky.
Yeah,
And I think like in the film you did it actually. So thank you for
thank
that.
you.
Like thank you for sharing with us like this beautiful intention, like to share the legacy of our teacher. Like it's the teacher of all of us that we are trying to understand the ancient wisdom. So, Terhi, I want to make you another question. Like I have too many questions to make, but we don't have too much time to do it, like to make all my questions. But um, how did you manage to translate an inner or spiritual experience into the language of the camera?
Yeah, this is also something that sort of gradually came. Um, I felt like the film needs two moods, like it needs light and dark. And the lightness is the teachings, the spiritual teachings of themselves. And luckily, we have Adyar, the most beautiful place on the earth, and beautiful soft Indian light. So I used a lot of nature symbolism. For example, when we talked about Blavatsky's teachings and the great breath, I always used, waves or the wind or trees, and we really put a lot of effort in that to like select the exact correct visual for what was talked about in the film at that time. So if you watch it, you can pay attention to the symbolism of the images you see on the screen. I think that's sort of what makes it also very powerful. But the other um, aspect was like kind of this darkness. Um, I want to send a shout out to my friend Sean from New York. He introduced me to this concept of dark academia. I had never heard of that before, but he was always saying that Blavatsky is like this character of dark academia. So that is like this mysterious 19th century heroine and like the type of Sherlock Holmes and all those vibes from
Yeah.
that era, them in New York and oil lamps and old books and all that. So So I wanted to use that imagery as well. And when you see like the beginning of the film, you see Blavatsky's, they're actually her items. I was able to film at the museum and I got to use her diary and her, you know, tobacco box and her cards and, her pencils and everything.
Wow.
And that was a special moment for me. But I wanted to create this like dark academia vibes that would also make the film kind of like timeless. That if you watch it in 10 years, it's also the color grading that we did at the studios. I asked them to make like this Harry Potter vibe to have this like vintage look on the film so that
Yeah, you can
it's
feel it
actually
in the
like
film.
timeless,
Go to watch
timeless
it.
film.
One
Yeah,
fire.
go to watch it. Go to watch our Harry Potter adventure.
Discover it by yourself, guys.
Yeah.
Wow, so that's yeah, it makes sense. Completely makes sense. And Terhi, I don't know, like, do you say that this was a very special moment for you? Why?
The film, or what do
No,
you
I mean
mean?
like when you saw like this
Oh, the
uh
Blavatsky thing.
uh
Oh, the Blavatsky's
yeah, yeah.
desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it was not necessarily a mystical experience, but since we had such a low budget, I was Blavatsky. So
Yeah.
the woman you see on the screen is me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was so I was actually sitting on her desk, on her chair with all her items, and I had her pen on my hand and I was kind of scribbling into her diary. And that moment was really, I felt so much gratitude in that moment to and a very like clear connection to her as well, thinking of her sitting there at ADR and writing all her incredible works, and it was just really a magical moment.
That's what we were talking about at the beginning of this talk. Like
Yeah.
you had to connect with Blavatsky like in a very deep way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I carried this project. It was not an easy project at all. Like, actually, like last year, I almost ended up in a burnout because of this. Because it was like the magnitude of, first of all, like honoring those teachings and this legacy of this monumental movement. Her personality, which is not a small one, she's kind of an enigmatic character. And to do that justice, I think the best option there is to like leave her be an enigma and let the reader make their own judgments about her and read more about her, but not try to define her because we cannot. Um, so yeah, I felt her presence and the weight of making a film about her. And I can tell you, like for more than a year, I woke up every morning at 3 a.m. in a panic.
Imagine
You're
that.
literally in a panic. And actually, when I met you in Helsinki, I was so happy because, yeah, Edgar gave me a beautiful mala. And I wore it quite often because, like, actually, how the film came together, it came together at such a last minute that I really had to, I think it was intentionally, because I had to sit with the discomfort of not knowing how the film will look like exactly, because it had to move up until the last moment. Like a film like with that spiritual weight, you just can't write it. It's not something that you just, okay, this is it, here's the script, this is how it's going to go. But I had to kind of put it together layer by layer. And I started with the historical details, and then the kind of spiritual elements came at the very last. And what was difficult for me about the film was that, like, for over a year, it just didn't move. Like, I had the footage, I had some form of edit. I had some kind of music, but it didn't come together. It just didn't come together. And I was like, oh my God, the
It
premiere
was a
is at,
challenge. It was a
gonna be
complete challenge.
here.
Yeah.
How am I gonna pull this off? I've never made a film before. Like, I had a lot of doubts
Uh,
and was heavy, heavy. at times.
Yeah, I suppose like as we said, you had to be connected with Helena Blavatsky because imagine this, like if you were trying to make a film of about her teachings and her life, imagine like to be in her shoes. I mean,
Yeah,
like to make something like the Theosophical Society and all that, it was not only 1 to 3 years, it was a complete life. So,
yeah.
do you think like after this, you can understand a little bit more to Elena Petrovna Blavatsky?
Nope. Let's be honest, nope. She is a larger than life character. I mean, like, just what they did with Olcott is just incredible. I mean, they were in their 40s. They established a small movement in New York and then they travel all the way to India and it just takes off like crazy and becomes this, yeah, force um, that impacts the world in so many different ways. And it's that was also like a little bit of painful thing during the film that I decided to focus on Blavatsky, but there have been so many incredible pioneers within the Theosophical Society or impacted by the Theosophical Society that like one film is not, it's not possible to mention everybody. Um,
And you weren't also in so many beautiful places, like.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we went to the to Sri Lanka to the temple where Okan and Blavatsky were made Buddhists. And that was interesting. We had 2 days to film there. It was just pouring rain. It was monsoon season. I was like, okay, we have a camera crew and everything is ready, but it's not possible to film because it's just raining. And then we had a beautiful Buddhist monk friend, Venerable Olande Ananda, who was with us, and the Buddhists of the temple there. And they said, okay, we're going to pray. We're going to pray tomorrow when we film. It's going to be not raining, it's going to be sunshine. And the monks prayed, and we had beautiful sunshine. So the whole film was just full of these kind of beautiful synchronities. And yeah,
Hmm. And was there any particular place where you experience a deeply impactful, mystical or esoteric moment in all your trips?
yeah, so we also went to New York and London, Amsterdam, and Brussels. I did not really have like a particular mystical moment, but for me, the mystical moments came when I was actually like just sitting with the film and I was listening to music. And that's how I was able to connect to these teachings and the spiritual side of the film. For me, it came through music and I wrote the voiceover narration, which then my beautiful composer Ramon composed this score for. So that was also a very interesting collaboration because we never met in person. We just had Zoom calls and messaged, and I sent him some examples of like style of music that I was thinking, and he just got it. Like he just understood exactly what this film needs, and he's about to put out a soundtrack soon. So I, for us, the spirituality of the film really came through music, actually.
So the most mystical moment was in Helsinki when we were talking. I,
Yeah, yeah, you were
because
there.
you
Edgar was
remember
there.
that yeah, I was
Yeah,
there. Like you
that
were
was so beautiful. We had
yeah.
a call with Ramon. We were sitting together, and then Ramon called me and like played his music for the first time. I remember I cried.
Yeah, I
I was
remember.
so touched
I was there
because it was
like
just right.
she's saying the
Yeah,
truth, guys, because
yeah,
I
I
was
cried.
there. I'm a witness.
Yes.
So her
But
reaction was
go and listen to our soundtrack. It's
it's
incredible.
in Spotify, right?
Yeah. We just have the first single there right now, but the whole album is gonna come soon.
Okay, so they can find it like
Let's link it on the, yeah.
One
Yeah,
Fire
we can also link
soundtrack.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on our website. So www.onefirethefilm.com. But in Spotify, if you sell, actually, this is very cool. Ramon's first track is called The Secret Doctrine. So if you search for a song called The Secret Doctrine, it's the only one named like that. And
Amazing.
yeah,
So
so
we're gonna leave you guys the links under the video. So remember to subscribe if you want to help to this project and this kind of interviews. Remember to subscribe to our channel, and if you can give us a like, it will help a lot.
yeah.
Or makes that more people can listen this interview. And yeah, I'm gonna put all the links here, the music, like from like that it's in Spotify, also the website. So all the information is gonna be down here. So um, and Terhi, let's go to the dark academia questions. You know,
Sure.
uh, what was the greatest challenge of the project? Like you already told me a little bit about that, but what did it mean for you to go through it?
Yeah. I think everybody who goes on this kind of soul journey faces their own kind of weaknesses and challenges and has to has to beat their or slay their dragons. So that's always like individual to whatever is, in our soul's imprint at that time. For me, it was, I tend to be like a little bit too nice sometimes.
Hmm.
So I found that I was challenged in that aspect a lot, that maybe I sometimes don't stand up for myself, or I let people walk all over me. And as a first-time director, and also, somebody who didn't have experience and is maybe a woman in some certain circumstances also, I really had to kind of step up my game there. And I found that I cared so much about this film that I just, like, whatever had to be done for the good of this film, I did. And that pissed off some people, many people.
Yeah,
So,
like Helena
so
Blavatsky way.
kind of, yeah, that style. So I found that that was kind of the soul development that I needed to also, I valued the film, but I realized at some point I'm not valuing myself. I should show myself the same, value and respect as I'm showing for this project. So I think everybody who was in the team and who was part of this project went through their own kind of soul's journeys, because it was not an easy project for anybody.
Yeah. And in one moment of the film, like maybe it's a weird question, but during the process, did you feel like a bridge between worlds? You know, like f fighting with the material thing and the economical part also, and like this how can we call them? Like sometimes these darkness people, and but at the same time, you had to deal with the spiritual way, and to be diplomatic, and so like to be in the middle of two worlds.
Yeah, yeah, actually, very much so. And it's interesting to think back because, like, last year, especially, like, trying to finalize the film on time with the little resources that we had, and somehow, like, I should have maybe trusted more also, because, like, all the resources that I needed were there in the end. Like, everything that I needed, I got. But it always came at the last minute and with a little bit of stress for me. But now when I'm thinking back at last year, it's really interesting that you make a spiritual film and a film about light, but it was such a difficult journey to get there. And that makes me somehow empathize with Blavatsky as well, because I'm not comparing myself to her, but her life was very difficult, and her work is just touching thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people. but she had to go through a very difficult life and a difficult path. So I see that she was actually the bridge between two worlds, and the film at the end, I decided to put there her like diagram of meditation, which is
Yeah,
kind of the only instruction that she has left,
like at the
like
end.
very direct instruction. And I thought that that's something that everybody can take away from her teachings, like a very practical thing. So her diagram of meditation is about expanding yourself, like finding the unity of all things. And how does she even put it? Do you remember the words? Yeah, I have them here actually. First, conceive of unity by expansion and infinite expansion in space and infinite in time. So she's basically saying, I am all space and time. So if we meditate on that, I feel like that's what she was. She was all space and time. And by being that, she was able to bring us these teachings and this light. So yeah, maybe what I thought that people can also take away from this film is that we're not just, here randomly or by chance. Like we all have a role to play and we all matter. And if you think about what we actually are, like we are made of atoms that have infinite amount of energy. Like an atom, it's just like the electron keeps spinning there and it's infinite. We're made like the little building blocks that our matter is made of is infinite energy. That is what we are made of. And then we have this consciousness also that is at best able to travel anywhere. Like we have the capacity to be all space and time, so past, present, and future. So that is not maybe something that you can understand with your mind, but
No,
it's
no,
an
in an
experience.
intellectual way,
Yeah.
it's a direct experience, and all the
Yeah.
teachings talks about this, like the emptiness, right? Because uh, in the Buddhism you can find it, and also like this teaching. How do you say it in English? Like a meditation diagram, or
Yeah, diagram of
oh
meditation.
yeah, it's in Spanish. Everything is in verse. So yeah, and it it says something like, "I'm all space and all time.
Yeah.
I'm without attributes." Also,
Yeah.
because there's also the negative part of that
Yeah.
meditation. And yeah, it's a dissolution of the ego, actually,
Yeah.
this meditation. And when I saw it at the end of the film in One Fire, I was like really surprised. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, very good way to end the documentary. So, because it's a kind of a small meditation in at the end of the
Yeah.
documentary, and the how do you say it, like the photo and the photography of the film at the end, the videos at the end are like so contemplative, and
Yeah.
well, I'm not gonna say the end. You have to watch it by yourself.
Watch it.
Yeah, go to watch it. One Fire. We are not doing marketing. It's just like if you want, of course. And but yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing that because when you read all the teachings, the writings that Blavatsky left to the humankind, it's very weird to find something about meditation, like so specific meditation.
It's not her style at all.
Yeah, it's not her style. It's
Yeah.
like you have to discover it by yourself. But this meditation, the diagram of meditation, it's so special because it really gives you also like a mantra. I'm all
Yeah.
time and all space. I'm without attributes. And when you try to meditate on that, like something happens. Like if I invite to everyone that is listening this, try to practice this meditation. So, well, I don't know, maybe you can find some videos on internet. In English, I don't have anything, but in Spanish, we have like complete classes about this meditation,
Mm.
by the way.
Yeah.
So you can find also in internet the writing of the diagram of meditation. So try it. It's beautiful, and thank you for including that in the documentary. I think like I appreciate that. It was
Yeah.
amazing, like to that you made something that it was very hidden and you put it like in front of everyone, and it's like, wow, what is that? Like the diagram of meditation. So let's search it, you know. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. Thank you for that, Terhi. And was there any additional information like this diagram meditation that was very specific, but um, there's any additional information you will have liked to include in the
Oh, so
documentary?
much. So much. That was very difficult to I think I like included maybe 5% of what I shot. So I had to leave a lot of it out because the topic is that vast. Actually, I think this would have worked better as a documentary series, so like focusing on one aspect, but yeah, it had to be a movie. But I actually even had to drop out 3 interviews that I had made. So yeah, maybe at one point I will publish them on YouTube, and actually like a little bit criticism what the film has drawn. Some people feel like we have left out certain key players in Theosophy. It was actually a conscious decision as much as I value their contribution, but it just I felt that if I try to include too much into one film, its risk is that it goes into all different directions and nobody comes out understanding anything. So I really chose Blavatsky for
So
that
we
reason.
want everyone wants the how do you say the version of director version. How do you say like
Yeah, director's cut, 5 hours.
director's cut? Yeah, you know, like because there's also these guys who made I don't know what's his name that he produced 300 like the Spartans. What's the name of this director? Do you know? Like,
Cut.
well, he had like you know the normal version of the film.
Hmm.
Maybe the Lord of the Rings also. Like you have the normal
Yeah.
version and you have this the extended version. So we want the extended.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
I'm
put it all
asking you
out
too much. I'm asking you too much.
there.
Well, I don't want to make you like more dark academia questions, but in what way did your vision of life change after completing this documentary, Terhi?
Yeah, I think like what we talked about before also about us being much more than we think we are. Um, Never in a million years would I have dared to start doing a film if anybody had explained what's involved and how difficult it will be and that it will be a real big film. I would have said no, I wouldn't dare. But we all have so much inside ourselves, and if we believe in our own capacity, and if we just give everything that we have and really listen to our hearts. And I'm always thinking that like what is in our hearts is a gift for humanity. It's a sin to keep it inside because it's not meant for you only, it's meant for everybody. So if we believe in that and find what it is inside our hearts that is so valuable that you would just do anything for that, then go and do it because yeah, the world needs it.
Well, that's a pretty message. How do you say like a very pretty message to end our interview. So, Terhi, thank you so much for being here, sharing with
Yeah.
us, to for accepting this invitation. Um, and also, I hope maybe in the future we can have more talks about the documentary, maybe about the philosophy, like that it's behind of all this. So maybe we can have a second part.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be
You
happy
want
to. Thank you
to?
for having me.
Oh, thanks
Thank
to
you for
you.
everybody who was here to listen.
Do you have a
You
last
can,
message to the
yeah,
people?
go watch One Fire. It's free online on YouTube. So enjoy. Let me know what
And
you think.
guys, I want to tell you something because I understand this. Like, we do all this without any profit. Like, we didn't um like try to, as Terhi said, and I agree with that, and I share it because we are not expecting to be famous or to be rich or to have a secret
Are you
island
sure?
in the middle of the ocean or something. Yeah, richer, yeah, something. Um, but if you can share or if you can support the project One Fire with something that it comes from your heart to in some way like to, how do you say, gratitude and to support also this big effort, it will be super nice.
You
So
can also organize screenings. So if you want to organize a screening somewhere in the world, let me know. You can organize it in a cinema, you can organize it in study groups, or wherever you feel like world needs one fire. Go for it. I'll support you.
everyone needs like to enlight the fire. So thank you for everyone, and thanks for this consideration. And thank you for trying to understand my English also. Like I have to improve it, and also my Finnish. So thank you so much. I hope to make more interviews in English. Also, you can visit our website Mahadharma Atma, and you will see what we teach there. We what we share. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you, Terhi.
Thank you so much.